Welcome to the Healthpreneur podcast. My name is Uriel Kame, New York Times bestselling author, former professional athlete, and founder of Healthpreneur, the world's leading company helping health and fitness experts start and scale high-end coaching businesses. If you want to attract more clients, learn how to convert them without feeling salesy, and deliver an amazing program for them on the back end, if you want to be inspired by what others just like you have gone through and how you can do the same no matter what life throws your way, then you are in the right place, because every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to be bringing you the best to help you take your knowledge and expertise to the next level with your health or fitness coaching business. And if you enjoy what you see and hear and would like to take your business to the next level, then I invite you to check out our free online training over at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. And for now, let's get into today's episode. What's going on, Healthpreneur? Hope you're doing great. Welcome back to the show. Today we've got a really cool topic we're going to be discussing. And, in the last episode we talked about, your story. Is it helping or hindering you? Hopefully you got some really good perspective on that. If you didn't listen to that one, go back to the previous episode, 244. Can you imagine 244 episodes now? It's amazing. Listen to it. I think it's just a real good reality check based on, what you want, where you're at. So today I want to talk about so you want to achieve something, right? So you want to achieve, so for the context of today's discussion, let's talk about money, okay? Just to keep it simple. So you want to make more money. You look at your bank account and you don't have the amount of money you want. So how does that make you feel? It makes you feel scared. It makes you feel anxious. You start to worry, right? And those are never good emotions to be feeling. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit metaphysical, a little bit spiritual here with you, because essentially we get what we focus on, right? And if you want a really good sense of if things are working out in your life, there's two ways to determine that. Number one is you can look at your results. You can look at, do I have the results I want? Do I have the amount of money I want in my bank? That's the first thing. If it's a no, then it's a no. The second determinant is, how do I feel? If I feel worried, anxious, doubtful, fearful, all that kind of stuff, those are really great emotions to let you know you're on the wrong path. And by that, I mean, negative emotions are your being's way of telling you that you're going to be attracting more bad stuff into your life, because we attract what we focus on. So if we are focused on a lack, we're focused on not having if we're focused on the lack of money that we want, well, what are we going to be attracting into our life? More money or more of a lack of money? It's pretty obvious, right? I think intuitively, just logically it makes sense. We get this. Okay, I get what I focus on. But I look at my bank and I don't have enough money. So I'm focused on not having enough money. So you're focused on not having enough money. So you attract more situations to highlight the fact that you don't have enough money. And what the key that I really want you to think about here is, let's say that you want to make $1 million, but in your bank, you've got $10,000, right? Maybe, I don't know, like whatever it is, it's a big gap from where you want to be. So what most people do is they focus on the gap. They focus on what they don't have, and naturally it feels crummy, right? It feels crappy to be in that position because you're like, oh my God, I don't have it yet. When's it coming? All this stuff. But here's what I want you to think here's the question I want you to answer. Are you able to be happy in the absence of what you want? Okay? Are you able to be happy in the absence of what you want? Because here's how the world works. Here's how the universe works. And it's actually contrarian to how most people operate. You get what you focus on, right? And that focus is the starting point. So what most people want is they'll feel happy when something happens. They're going to feel happy when they have a big day, when they get a promotion, when they make a bunch of money, when whatever happens. So it's really conditional. Their happiness is conditional. I will be happy when. I'll be happy when I meet the perfect person, when my business takes off, when I make more money. And the challenge with that is that it's all after the fact. You see, it's like in the world of metrics. We had an episode a number of weeks ago talking about, metrics and KPIs in your business. And that type of feeling and thinking is what we call a trailing indicator. Let's like revenue. Revenue is not predictive. It's trailing. It's a reflection of what has happened previously. So you feeling crummy is a reflection of your current state. But I want you to understand that how you feel is really, it's not a trailing indicator, it's a leading indicator. So if you were to add one more metric to your business, it would be this: is how am I feeling on a daily basis? And if you had a scale of sad on one end, depressed, pessimistic, anxious, doubtful, worrisome, okay, that's one end of the spectrum. And on the other end of the spectrum, we had joyful, excited, enthusiastic, optimistic. And if you graded yourself on that spectrum, that is one of the most important leading indicators you can give yourself. Because here's the reality, is that if you don't feel all those positive emotions on a daily basis, then what's happening is you're focused on all the shit that currently is. You're focused on the lack of, you're focused on the not enough of. But because you're feeling like that, you attract more of that. And so this is the real opportunity, and the challenge at the same time is you have to understand that you are the creator of what it is you want in life. As I've said a million times before, you have to believe something before you see it. But most people want to see something before they believe it. And that's the conundrum. But here's like, if a true entrepreneur is someone who creates magic out of thin air. It's someone who has an idea in their head that doesn't currently exist and makes it happen. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. If you think of the Wright brothers, no one had ever created an aircraft before. And here they come. They're like, you know what? We have this idea for this flapping machine that's going to help us fly like birds. Naturally, everyone's like, not going to happen. Show me the proof. This is never going to work. And they could have said, you know what? You're right. You're right. No one's ever done this. Why am I going to invest all my time and money into something that no one has ever done? You know why? Because they believed up here. They saw it up here. They felt it up here. And because of that, they were able to create it in reality. But where most people fall, and I'm telling you this, like, listen, I've worked with a lot of clients over the years. And I'll tell you, there's really there's two things that I look for in a client. Number one is you have to be great at what you do. You have to be an expert. And number two is you have to have self-belief. Because the number one limiting factor in anyone's success is between their ears. And I'll tell you, like, we've had, a number of our clients on the podcast before. I look at our clients who are crushing it versus those who aren't and who are using their story to be their safety blanket. The only difference is their mindset. That is it. That is it. Everything else is figureoutable, right? Your offer, the messaging, all that stuff. That is easy compared to your mindset. You have to do the daily gardening in your mind to only cultivate the right veggies, the right thoughts. And if you don't, the tendency, just like in a normal garden, is for the weeds to overgrow. It's hard work. It's not easy. But here's the thing, is that it becomes easier the more you do it. It's a habit. You see, a belief is simply a thought that you continue to think. So if you believe something is impossible, the only reason for that is that's because that is a habitual thought that you've continued to think up until this point of time. So naturally, if you're going in one direction and all of a sudden I'm saying, hey, listen, change your belief, change your thought, change your thinking around this, naturally it's tough to course correct because you're so focused. Your brain has hardwired grooves to think like this, focus negative, focus anxiety, focus worry. And now I'm saying, hey, focus on the good. You're like, oh, no. There's no way. I can't do that. That's too challenging. Of course it is, because you're not used to it. It's just like if you've never worked out before, it's going to be challenging to start working out. But everything you want in life is on the flip side of how you feel. And the better you feel, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the more good stuff comes into your life. And the more good stuff comes into your life, the easier it is to feel and see the good stuff happening in your life and reinforcing that thought. The better it gets, the better it gets, as Abraham Hicks says. The worse it gets, the worse it gets. So part of your challenge is to notice what you're currently feeling and pivot. You have to change your thoughts. You have to be aware of what you're thinking. When we interviewed our client Brandy last week or the other week, one of the things she mentioned is like, I don't have time for negative thoughts. And what is that? That's just simply self-awareness. Self-awareness means I'm aware of what I'm feeling. I'm aware of what I'm thinking. I'm aware of what's happening around me. And essentially what Brandy said is she said, I don't have time for a negative thought, which means that when she thinks or when something happens or when one of those thoughts comes up, she catches it and immediately changes her perspective. And this is the big difference. Sadly, we have clients who, and again, like it's not all of them, but obviously there's a few who really go off a deep end. Like it's like 3 months they go walkabout. And it's like what happened? Oh, I've been in a really negative spiral. And all that is 3 months of the wrong focus. That is, at some point, 3 months ago, for instance, a negative thought came up, fear, anxiety, worry, and then you allowed that to continue playing in your head. You allowed it to continue playing, and now the momentum is really starting to pick up. And now you're in this whirlpool of just negativity and worry and fear. And obviously to get out of that is not easy. And so what I want to suggest to you is that you have to, number one, be aware of what you're thinking. And number two, be okay with changing that thought. So if you want, let's just do a little exercise here. So you want to make more money, okay? Why do you want to make more money? I want you to take a second or two to think about that. Why do you want to make more money? Okay, just think about that. So let's say that you want to make more money because you want to feel more stability in your life. You want to feel more financially stable. What does that mean? Right? What does stability mean to you? Like, what does stability feel like? Think about that for a second. What does stability feel like? Right? Maybe it feels secure, feels dependable. It feels like, you know every single day that you have enough. Okay? What about financial freedom? Some people want to just create a lot of freedom in their life financially. They want to have a huge amount of riches, right? So they can travel, they can buy the houses, whatever they want to do with their money. Well, what does freedom feel like? Well, freedom might feel like being able to do whatever you want, right? Freedom might feel just the sense of lightness. Like there's nothing kind of hanging over your shoulders or your head. Like it's just you feel free and light and excited about the possibilities. I want you to think about, whether it's stability or freedom. And ironically, they're kind of on two opposite ends of the spectrum. But I want you to think about what that feels like for you. Like, how will you feel when you have financial freedom? How will you feel when you have financial stability? So I want you to close your eyes, unless you're driving or walking, and I'm going to do a little exercise with you, okay? I want you to close your eyes. If you're sitting down, that's awesome. If you're walking, just take a break, sit down on the side. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to see your bank account. And when you look in your bank account, you've just logged into your bank account, you're looking at your checking account, and you've got $1 million in there. You see a 1 followed by 7 zeros or 6 zeros, whatever it is. Just a lot of zeros. I want you to feel what that feels like. Your credit card that's also in there, maybe it's got a balance of $1,000. Feel how good it feels when you can easily wire that money right onto the credit card, wipe it out right away. You've got $1 million sitting in your bank account. What are you excited about? What are you going to do today? What are the things that you can now do that you couldn't previously do? Because now you've got $1 million sitting in your bank account. I want you to feel what that feels like. What are the things you're going to experience today? What are the foods you're going to choose? Who are the people you're going to hang around with? What are the things you're going to do in your business today, this week, this month, now that you have $1 million in your bank accounts? And most importantly, I want you to feel how that feels. Do you feel sad or do you feel happy? Do you feel abundant or do you feel scarce? Just allow those feelings to really surface inside of you. Feel how good it feels to know that you have more than enough money. At any given time, you can jump on a plane and go wherever you want. You can buy yourself or your family the best foods, the best restaurants. You can buy that car you've always wanted. You can build that dream home. You get a bill coming in for whatever expenses, no problem. I'm going to write a check for that right now. Feel what that feels like and how good it feels to be in that position of overwhelming abundance. Now, I'd like you to internalize that feeling. Okay, I want you to hold on to that feeling. And I want you to open your eyes. Feels pretty good, right? Pretty good. Now, let me ask you this. Did I put $1 million in your bank? No. Nothing happened financially in the last 2 minutes, most likely. You still have the same amount of money in your bank. Now, here's the cool thing, is that you chose to feel a certain way based on how you focused your mind. And you have to ask yourself, is what I'm focusing on, does it make me feel good when I focus on it? If the answer is yes, then focus on it. If the answer is no, you need to change your thoughts quickly. Because if you're focusing on that money in the bank and all that great stuff it can do, why would you not want to focus on that? And you might be thinking, okay, Yuri, well now I'm just going to it's going to be mean to myself because when I open my eyes, it's not really there. And then there's going to be this huge contrast of where I am and what I want. And the truth is, the only way to get the $1 million is to focus on how it feels when you have the $1 million. You have to feel before it comes into your life. It doesn't come into your life first and then you feel. You have to feel the joy, the abundance, the happiness, the freedom, the stability, whatever those feelings are, those emotions you want to feel, you have to feel them now and you have to feel them consistently because your life is a culmination of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions you experience on a consistent basis. And that's why I say if you want to add in a metric to your business, it should be how much time, percentage-wise, do I spend feeling happy, joyful, expectant, enthusiastic, optimistic, that everything is already here. Everything I want is already here. Even if it's not here, you feel what it feels like as it's coming to you. That's the only thing that matters. Because there's, and I tell my clients this all the time, you can't control how many people book a call to you, right? You can't control, you can control what you put out on Facebook, but you can't control what Facebook does. You can't control how people respond to your stuff. You can't control how people watch your webinar. But the only thing you can control every single moment of the day is what's happening in your mind. And what's amazing is that when you focus your mind in the right way, like magic happens. It's just incredible, right? It's incredible how we are able to attract and manifest things in our life just based on how we focus on them. And if you're thinking to yourself, hey, Yuri, this is a complete crock of stuff, you know what? That's okay. That's your belief. And you're going to attract more of that into your life. And I'm not here to tell you that hey, I've discovered this new way of thinking that changes the way we, function in this world. This is a universal truth. You get what you focus on. And you can choose to believe it or not. You can have your own opinion of it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's true. You might be saying, okay, Yuri, well, if that's the truth, then why do I have all this crappy stuff in my life? Because you focus on that. It works, right? It works. If you have the results you want or you don't have the results you want, it doesn't matter because it works. It means you've been focusing on the wrong things. That's why you've brought the wrong things into your life. And the only thing that matters is when are you going to allow yourself to feel the way you want to feel, to allow that good stuff to come into your life. That's the only thing that is holding you back, right? So I hope this makes sense for you. And the message I want to get across for you here is that you need to be able to feel good in the absence of what you want. Viktor Frankl, A Man's Search for Meaning, one of the greatest books in the last 50 years probably, essentially said the same thing, right? Here's a guy who's in a concentration camp in World War II. And essentially, he says, they can do whatever they want to me, but the only thing they can't do is change what's in my mind, right? I'm paraphrasing that. And that's the same decision you have every single day. And the good news is that you're not in a concentration camp. And it's how you choose to focus every single day. That's why things like appreciation and gratitude and really visualizing and feeling what it is you want is so important. And that's why entrepreneurs are really, we're in this amazing small percentage of people who can daydream and kind of put our heads in the clouds and think of the things we want to create. And while everyone's like, hey man, like be realistic, come down to earth. You're like, you know what? I'm going to stay up in the clouds because I know that's where dreams are created. The more time I spend up there, the faster things are going to happen down here. Most people don't get that, but you're not most people. Okay? So feel good starting today, no matter what. Feel happy, feel expectant that all the things you want to have in your life, the money, the clients, whatever the things you want to experience, that they're, maybe if they're not here yet, just visualize them as they're coming into your life. Visualize that all the perfect clients are coming to you, that money is literally being shipped to your front door. Visualize that, like see that, and feel how good it feels. And here's the challenge you're going to run into is while you're thinking this, your mind is going to be like, oh, this is bullshit. This is never going to happen. Why are you thinking this? Why are you getting your hopes up? Right? So you can feel crappy when it doesn't happen. And you have to tend to that little negative voice and shut it down. Shut it down. Because why would we give our attention to something that's going to make us feel bad? Right? Like, yes, maybe what you want is not here yet, but why focus on what is here right now if you don't want it? Why? So that's my message for you today, is focus on what you want. See it as if it's coming to you. Visualize, do that exercise we just did a couple moments ago. Feel those feelings every single day. And I promise you in a short amount of time, things will start to really miraculously happen in your life. And they'll come in different ways. They'll come in all sorts of cool, serendipitous, cool things coming into your life. Money, clients, parking spots opening up, finding money on the sidewalk, like all sorts of really cool things. Okay? So that is what I'm going to leave you with today. Master your emotions. Feel how you want to feel right now. And that is how you'll attract more of what you want into your life. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Healthpreneur podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, here's what I'd like you to do right now. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Healthpreneur podcast on iTunes. And while you're there, leave us a rating or review. It helps us get in front of more people and change more lives. And if you're ready to start or scale your health or fitness coaching business and want to start getting in front of more people, working with them at a higher level without trading time for money, then I invite you to check out our free 7-figure health business blueprint training, totally free right now. And you can do so at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. For now, thank you so much for joining us. Continue to be great, do great, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.